where does Notre Dame go for here for defense line recruiting? The line right now is that they're just going to keep recruiting Scott, and that's it, because they wanted 4 and they got 4, and anything after that is kind of that too good not to take category. I don't know. I still think they might just go get a 5th. Like, defensive line is one of those positions that you can project, right? Like, you can see what this guy will be down the future. You just get some freak show like a Cole Mullins. It's like, oh, he's playing linebacker, but like you can see his length, athleticism, and we see him projecting. I think they'll probably end up with something like that if they don't flip Scott. But
that's why I took a note earlier when I was driving home and getting ready. I knew we were going to talk about Canyon and Scott. Those are the two like toughest. Going back to one of the gentleman's questions about the MNC commentators and O-line, D-line, or O-line tight end, about how hard he's basically saying how hard it is to recruit wide receivers. It is. Lou Samoji has written articles upon articles in his history about the white whale, meaning D-line recruiting. It has always been tough for Notre Dame to land guys. It just is. This is not the first time they've lost out on guys. There's a long line of guys that they've lost out on over the years on the D-line. And then to your point right now, Mike, I was thinking a few hours ago, like, these are the 2 positions Notre Dame needs to oversign. I mean, you only need 85 guys when camp starts. There is no signing limit. I don't know if anyone saw that. The NCAA announced, you could oversign again. They're extending that. You don't have to just be at 25. So guys could sign 34 players. So the goal is to be at 85 when camp starts. Well, you don't need this until another year from now. So why not oversign? Because they've lost out on Morian Walker to Michigan, who now is starting corner. How funny is that? CJ Williams. You only had 1 wide receiver in that class. The famous Jordan Johnson class is a train wreck at wide receiver.
And that one looked great on paper.
Oh, it's unbelievable on paper. People, they don't recruit receivers. Well, they did. They had Xavier Watts and Jordan Johnson, 2 elite wide receivers. They didn't play at Notre Dame. Watts obviously got moved. And the same thing with the D-line. I said months ago, you got to sign 5 or 6. You got to keep replenishing it. And for some reason, Notre Dame always sticks to, we only want 3. Take 5. We only want 4 D linemen. Take 6, because you just don't know. And at least for me, as a longtime Notre Dame fan, those 2 positions have been extremely hard. Corner was like that for ages, and now corner's kind of really deep, which is awesome, for the future. But wide receiver, you got to go out and find another one. You can't just sign.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're going to take another receiver.
And then D-line, man, you just never know with D-line. Because what if Riley Mills goes out and tears it up this year and he goes pro early and Batella doesn't come back? These guys don't come back for a 5th. You just need bodies. And I think those 2 positions for me oversign. And if I was at Notre Dame offices, man, I would oversign the living heck out of those 2 spots.
I want to address that. I was looking through my notes, Tim, because the question of why doesn't Notre Dame just sign a lot more guys? I asked, does Notre Dame source that? And I didn't really get to dive into it too much. I'm looking at my notes. Notre Dame's not going to take kids just to take kids. So I think if it's a situation where they can get 30 and it's 30 guys that they really, really want, they'll do it, but they're not just going to take, players that
let me ask you this then. How do you find that Sauce Gardner? How do you find that guy who's ranked the 1200th corner and you take a chance at him? Maybe.
Which I think if they find that guy, they take a chance on him. That's someone they believe in,
Yeah, I got you.
Like a Sean Sevillano.
Sure. And a Rezak, obviously.
Rezak. Cole Mullins, also had offers from USC and, he had some big time offers. Like Sean Sevillano, Michigan. Like, look at his top 4 is Notre Dame, Ohio State, Auburn, Miami. It's like even some of these lower ranked guys are pretty good offers. Like Teddy Rezak, Nebraska offered him right before he committed to Notre Dame. I mean,
No, I know. No, I agree. It's just, and I see what the Notre Dame staff says. We're like, we're not sure if he could play here. I get it. I get it. Those are at least 2 spots. And then that's where you just got to constantly attack. And Notre Dame has had really good success with grad transfers. We always got to remember that. Look at the guys they brought this year, last year, on and on and on. They've had really good success. So you just keep pounding that.
Are you telling me there's not a single 5-star that is willing to bet on Freeman over NIL/pay for play? Does he need to actually win something to have a bowl? Again, Notre Dame has signed 3 5-star guys under Marcus Freeman, right? Jalen Sneed, Charles Jagasaw, Emil Wagner. And Emil Wagner, that was he committed to Notre Dame when Marcus Freeman when Brian Kelly and Jeff Kuhn were still at Notre Dame. But Emil Wagner High School, Wayne and Hubert Heights, same high school as Marcus Freeman. So so that's 3 5-stars that Notre Dame did sign because Marcus. So again, they're signing 5-stars. And you guys want to tell me all the time how ridiculous all the rankings are for CJ Carr not being a 5-star. So if you guys rank CJ Carr as a 5-star and Cam Williams as a 5-star, then there's 2 5-stars in this class alone. So, come on.
No, I hear you. And
to the super chat, Tim.
No, it's exactly. I see what he's saying. Take a bet, and that's true. No matter if I talk about that, with some of my Notre Dame friends a bunch. It's like, this is still, I guess I'll use the term, an experiment. Whatever you want to call it. It's a young coach. It's a young guy who, 10 years ago, before he was at Notre Dame, he was coaching at Kent State, correct? Purdue. That's where he got his training ground at those mighty powers. So, and he's worked his way up slowly. And now it goes back to Jack Swarbrick's great interview. There's interviews out there. He did one with, I was just Googling this the other day, just trying to do some Marcus Freeman rehashing when he got hired. And Jack Swarbrick did a long interview with Pete Sampson talking about, Pete Sampson asked, is it a risk? He's like, heck yeah, it's a risk. But it's one I think is going to pay off. And that's going back to that reasoning why he used Dabo Sweeney and his experience. Dabo, people forget, went, I think, 6-7 his second year. Then it started to roll after that. So, not saying Freeman's going 6-7 this year, but it is a chance, and this is a bet. So when you got these 5-stars, say Justin Scott's sitting there, it's like, do I take a chance on Freeman, or do I know what I could get at Ohio State? And that happens. And then the next thing, I know we constantly hear these 5-stars, but Mike, where are most of these 5-stars? Down south. And those guys down south, they're going to stay in the SEC and play football. That's where the best football is. It's home base. Their entire family could go to the games, all that stuff. And that's just what has happened in SEC country the last 20 years. And during this period, Notre Dame has stunk most of the time. They just have. So it's a bet. It's a great question. And this here, Ned Davis is the ultimate during the Freeman era is getting these guys to take a chance on Freeman. And Freeman, I've seen some comments in the chat. Got to go out and win. Go out and win. And when you win, it starts to change that switch, get that Marshall, the Stanford, the horrible loss to Oklahoma State in the Fiesta Bowl. All these things start to add up, and you get them out of your mouth, and you start, all right, now we see what this guy's doing. So long-winded answer, but it's a great question.